My aide-de-camp is a woman, and she's the senior aide-de-camp. She's Captain Stephanie De Bono. She's with me today. I asked her to wear uniform so that she can distinguish herself. So yes, there are women in high-ranking positions. I feel lucky to have one of them, but there is quite a lot more to be done. Even though now we can see more women soldiers in our army, we still need more women to be there. Women can bring a new perspective in everything. So even though I have met one, and I am lucky to work with one, and also I must say that there is, in my security team, there is also Sergeant Caroline Miakono Marmara, who is also a woman, and I must tell you that I am very proud that I managed to bring a change, because this is the very first time, it's historical, that a Maltese president has a senior aide-de-camp who is a high-ranking army officer, and also within my security team there is a woman sergeant, So we can do little things, but they can mean a lot. The video that you are seeing is one of the initiatives that we take to empower girls and boys. That was an exercise by the the Children's Council of the President's Foundation for the Wellbeing of Society. We have a very active Children's Council and a number of consultation groups, which came about through the initiative of the President's Secret Garden. I don't know if you've heard of it, but quite a number of children come, quite a number of hundreds of children come to the President's Secret Garden, where we have developed this community of learning, where we take initiatives, and many of these initiatives are taken by children themselves to get empowered. What you're seeing there is an exercise, a brainstorming session of the Children's Council on women's rights. Together, there weren't only girls, but there were also some boys there, and they were asked to draw a pilot, for example, to draw an army officer, to draw an engineer. Unfortunately, due to the perspective which comes through our traditions and culture, some of the girls themselves drew these professionals as male. But then what we have done, for example, if it was a pilot, we brought in a pilot, a woman pilot, and you have met, some of you I'm sure have met women pilots from Air Malta, from our legacy national carrier here at this convention. An army officer, so Captain De Bono went in during the session to show that, yes, women can become anything if they are determined, if we believe in ourselves. And this is one of the things which we try a lot through the Children's Council and the President's Secret Garden. But then also, we believe a lot in education. We believe a lot at addressing the challenge of our cultural tradition, etc. Then we have taken also the initiative since last year to bring together all women NGOs who work for women's rights on the same platform, which we call Empower. This is very important because though we have many initiatives coming from a big number of NGOs, there are about 17 of them, but everybody taking initiatives, but probably never speaking to each other. So the fact that we have brought all NGOs together on this platform will give us a stronger voice. And we need to have a strong voice. We need to stand up and be heard. We need to be courageous and challenge patriarchy. And we need to challenge patriarchy from very young. We can't challenge patriarchy when we are old. You need to become agents of change. We need that change. We need women to be everywhere in society, in everything, because we bring a different perspective to things. And male and female perspectives together can really make a holistic approach and change. Well, to have a plan of life, and stick to it so that you can reach your objective. Well, you might say, but haven't you had a plan of life? Yes, I had a plan of life. However, I was, I would say, caught up in politics from very young, from 16 years. Before that, I started my sort of activity outside the home in NGOs. To be honest, politics have taken up much of my life. I never aspired to be president. It wasn't anything in my plan of life, I can tell you. But at times, and I share this with you so that you do keep your priorities straight. Because there were times in my life when I was young where I jumbled up my priorities. And that, I mean, I was lucky to sort of gain ground again. However, don't waste time, because life is so short. So having a plan of life helps you to go from one thing to another, one thing to another. But you have to be determined. That is very, very important. And as I always say, we need to believe in ourselves all the time, even when things seem to go wrong for us. Don't give up, never quit. You have to continue to believe in yourself and challenge the situation. Any challenges, I mean, life is full of challenges, but determination and believing in oneself are really real values, requisites to make your aspirations happen. Well, there is one bit that we can replicate from Her Royal Highness. There are much more opportunities open for girls, definitely. But we have to be brave. I will use that word because, yes, we need to be brave, courageous. Because still, we have still to fight the patriarchal culture and mentality. We have seen even from research that women, even though they might be quite numerous in certain areas of work, but then it's more difficult for them to get the proper promotions, to get to the top. So we have access practically to all professions, but still we need to have a culture change, a mentality change. We need to that's why I emphasize on the need for you to be activists today, so that you can stand up for what is your right. And please remember, women's rights are human rights. So if our rights are not being catered for, are not safeguarded, there is one huge important thing very missing in our society. And we have to stand up for human rights, for women's rights. And this is by being determined, by again believing in yourself, so that you can open doors. But please, we need to start knowing how to network. Men's network have been there from time immemorial. And we need to learn as women to network more. Because if we network, then also we can support each other. And we can make change. We can realize change in a faster pace. There is this very important research, which I have mentioned this morning while we were at the Malta Stock Exchange. It's from the World Economic Forum, which says that if we keep the same pace in terms of our journey for equality, it will take us 170 years to bring parity on a global level. I'm not prepared to wait, not even for a year, because I've been speaking like this for a long, long time, a lifetime, one could say. And please, be impatient to do things. Be impatient for your rights. Stand up, be together, support each other, be brave, be determined, believe in yourselves, because we're needed everywhere in society as women. We need to do much more ourselves, so that even our politicians and policymakers, then they will have even more courage to act and act quickly. Well, we live in a lucky country, or rather we live in a lucky situation, because we have to admit that a lot of progress have been achieved through our, for example, our educational system, which is accessible to everyone. If we go to our university, we find there are much more women that are at university than men. And if one decides to go into an engineering course, there are no obstacles. One can do it freely. But however, it's the mentality or the way that we have been brought up, and sort of the perception that we get that maybe a mechanic or an engineer are the stereotypical, a typical stereotype profession for men. So what we need to do is we need to address such challenges from our educational system. So as we get empowered and our perception and the way we look things, our attitudes, we change those because we need to change those. But also we need the help of the media. Some time ago, a European report on 3 countries, including Malta, about women in the media. And it was a qualitative research which have shown that many a time women in the media are being objectified. So besides education, we need also the media to be on board, to help us change the mentality, to help us change the culture, the perception of things, so that you young girls would really look at all options available. Because yes, even these professions are available for girls. So we need to collaborate with as many stakeholders in our society as much as possible to make things, to bring about the change that is much needed in our society. Well, many a time we are very much described not for what we say, but for what we look like. And this is discrimination. This never happens to men. Men, for example, a woman, if she's assertive, many a time she's described as being aggressive. If the woman is passionate, many a time she's described as being emotional. So I'm afraid even in the way we are described, we are being stereotyped. We are being discriminated at. And this also comes from the fact that we need to support more each other. We need to stand by each other. We need to network. We need to network seriously, because it is very unfair to describe women from their looks and not for what they stand for. This is not done for men. So that is definitely very discriminatory.